Hi, I'm Emily Yee, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I specialize in working with gifted teens and their families, but that tends to bleed out into all ages because we never really grow out of being gifted. And so some of the common conversations that I have with adults that I work with is about getting in touch with themselves in an authentic way and trying to tease out what is masking and what is their authentic self when it comes to social engagements, being kind, being friendly. And so a question to consider for yourself is, are you masking or are you being authentic in your socializing? So masking, if we were to define it, it's the art of becoming who others need you to be, and sometimes at the expense of yourself. We see this a lot in gifted, autistic, ADHD, neurodivergent individuals because they have to live in a neurotypical space. And so they need to learn the social cues and social requirements of everyone around them in order to not be perceived as mean or rude or disconnected. You'll see t-shirts on Instagram, I've seen them, that say, "Don't hear what I didn't say," because a neurotypical will come up to somebody who's neurodiverse and ask them a question and then say something like, "Oh, wow, you said that rude." And then they'll just point to their shirt. Don't hear what I didn't say. But learning how to get by in the world requires some masking. And you see it a lot, again, in gifted, ADHD, autistic, children, adults, all of us. And so learning when you are doing it is important, because if you fall in that group of people, then the chances that you are doing it is high. And knowing yourself and knowing who you are truly is game changing. So if we were to say that gifted adults mask 20 to 40% of the time, and women who fall in that range mask twice as often, then the chances that you are masking often is high. And I would even throw this in there, that masking requires so much emotional effort to put on a show. You're displaying emotions, you're making eye contact, you're engaging with people in a way that you see that they like to be engaged. You're reading them constantly and giving them what they want, essentially. And so getting home at the end of the day and feeling completely exhausted, needing no sensory input to come in, not wanting to conversate at all, is pretty common in those situations. So you might say, well, I'm doing what I want to do. I like making other people happy. I like engaging other people and seeing that they feel loved and cared for. And I would say that's awesome. Have you also done the work of knowing who you are truly and what is an authentic response that you would give if you weren't masking? And what is the line where you start to maybe self-abandon in order to make the other person happy? I often bring this up in some of my videos, but the foundation that I work from is respecting the attachments that you made early in life to be the foundation of what you're building your attachments on now. So if these caregivers in your life often needed peace because they were lacking in that department, whether from mental illness or poverty or high conflict situations, for whatever reason, they needed peace. The chances of them leaning on you or you taking it upon yourself to become a peacemaker in your own home is high. And the satisfaction that you would get from bringing peace to someone that is a caregiver is very high, because that means that now they have the capacity to love you and provide you with security, which is what we need as infants and children. And so this tendency of yours to be a peacemaker, to be somebody who is charming and puts others at ease, might come very naturally and give you a sense of purpose. But what if it is costing you something? And when does it cost us something? Let's just kind of explore that for a second. If it costs you your identity, then it's not a kindness to others. It's more of a self-abandonment. So that being the definition of when I guess you're crossing the line is when you're stepping away from what you truly value and what you need in order to go the distance, so to speak. We use different analogies to understand what our capacity is, but just because we can make others happy and be everything that they need us to be doesn't mean that we should. We're going to run out of spoons, okay? So there's this analogy about spoons and it comes from an article, I believe, where we have a certain amount of spoons that you get each day, and everything that you do costs you spoons. And so you might have 10 spoons. And so you show up to an event and you're socializing and you're like, I have the capacity, I can do this. You pay all your 10 spoons to keep people happy. You get home that night and it's time to shower and get your clothes put away and make your lunch for the next day, and you have no spoons left. You're just like face down in your bed, covers pulled up, don't even want to listen to music. Done for the day. Did you really have it to give? Did it really pay off to make that other person happy when at the end of the day, you don't have anything left to take care of yourself in the most basic need type of way? And so that's one example. Another example is being overly friendly with people that will take advantage of you, or with people that you don't actually like. They kind of drive you insane, but you don't know how else to be. You don't know how to set a boundary. You don't know how to listen to yourself when yourself is saying, hey, this person's annoying and I don't actually want to spend time with them. You quiet that part of you. And so I've brought this up before in other videos, but this concept of IFS, internal family systems, and the internal family within you that has all these voices. So I think of sock puppets, but they talk to you all day long. And the more intense you are, the faster your brain works. You've got all these little sock puppets talking at you. And so the one that says, you should be friends with them, you should be nice to them, even if they're annoying, maybe they need a friend. And so you're nice, nice, nice. And the one that says, I'm tired of being nice. I just want a break. I just want to go take some time for ourselves. These two get into it. No, we just need to be nice. We need to care for others and put ourselves last. And there is a place and time for you to speak to these two that are trying to defend you. One is trying to defend your reputation and your goodness, your worthiness. And the other one is trying to defend your energy level and tell you when you're out of gas. And you come into the picture and say, thank you both for caring for me. I can listen to you and hear that this person is being annoying, and I can set some boundaries and push back so I have capacity to take care of myself later tonight. And you manage all of this without letting either of them take the wheel last minute and run you into a place where you don't want to be. And you're like, how do I always get here into these situations? Whether it's socially or energy-wise, whatever it is, learning how to be the self-manager of your life and knowing what you can give authentically and make it all the way through the day or all the way through a social situation, not just taking it piece by piece and making everybody happy until you have nothing left to give. So we were just kind of chatting about the different parts of you, and you've got the performer part of you that says, I got this. I can win everybody over. I can make everybody like me, and it's going to be great. This is what we live for. But the performer part of you is probably in constant conflict with the caregiving part of you that wants you to save a little bit of energy for yourself, or other parts of you that are like, hey, you have these other people that are also competing for your attention. And so they're all in it together. And that performer part of you might be pretty strong because that's what got the love and affection and security that you needed in that 0 to 5 range in your childhood. So cognitive behavioral therapy is the relationship between your thoughts and your feelings and your behavior. And so if we take that thought of, I need to perform in order to be loved, I need to be kind in order to live, in order to feel worthy of love from others. If we take that thought and dissect it a little bit and reframe it so that we have a healthier foundation to work from. Instead of, I need to be friendly so that people like me, we reframe it into, the people that love me love all of me. not just the part of me that can perform. And that sounds believable, right? It's a little bit tough. It's really tough if you have that upbringing that we've talked about of needing to be the peacemaker. And when you feel like you're causing a problem or you're setting a boundary, it's really hard to think that the people that love you will love you anyway and will stick around for that. And so that's a place where we might need to work on that in therapy, unpacking that a little bit, sitting with that, processing some of the trauma that might be there that have really ingrained some of these core beliefs. And trauma doesn't have to look like capital T trauma, where you were physically abused, sexually abused, verbally abused in those ways. It just is a lowercase t trauma, a moment when you believed based on their actions that that's what I have to do in order to be loved. And your little childhood self said, okay, this is what we're going to do for the rest of our lives. And now they're like one of those sock puppets that are saying, hey, remember, we're going to perform in order to be loved. And you're the adult in the room that's saying, that was something we believed when we were a kid, but it's actually not true. The truth is that people that love us even when we're out of gas, even when we don't have it left to give. And they understand, and they actually want to be there to support us too. People who like the real me won't require the performance. And that's something that you might need to ride that thought with training wheels and remind yourself quite a bit. But I really do hope that you'll bite into that. So thinking about for yourself, where are you living a life of performance instead of authenticity? What's that line for you? Are you aware of yourself when you're crossing it, and maybe why you might be crossing it? Like in that moment, are you feeling vulnerable? Are you feeling inadequate or insecure, and you're kind of overcompensating? And what do we do with that instead of turning up the performance and taking away from our energy that we need for the other parts of our lives? If any of this is clicking with you, I would love to deep dive into it with you. It's the joy of my life. So please reach out. My email is emilyke@gmail.com. My website is jacksonvillecreativetherapy.com. And again, I specialize in working with gifted teens and their families, but I love working with people across the lifespan, and you never really grow out of being an intense person. And any day is a good day to start healing. So reach out if you'd like to talk. I'd love to talk to you.